Good morning. Of course, for some in other parts of the world, good evening or good afternoon. It's always a pleasure to talk to PGurus audience. As I always mention, they are very precise in their comments and very, very knowledgeable. Today, we will look at the most interesting development in Indian politics which has taken place, namely the Nitish Kumar episode. Nitish has moved out from NDA to 𝙒𝙬𝙤𝙤𝙤. It's not the first time he is doing it. He has been in and out of this thing. He has also, quite a long time before, he was very much against NDA and particularly against Modi. Actually, when he was the chief minister under the old Gadbandhan, when Modi sent some money from Gujarat for the flood or drought relief in Bihar, he didn't, accept it. He didn't even recognize it. He told the one who gives should never tell it outside, and Modi has violated this principle or something like that. Anyhow, he has always been on the dicey side. But one important thing is, do not underestimate him. Do not try to make him a joker or anything like that. In politics as well as in war, two critical mistakes one should never do is to underestimate the opponent, particularly in Indian politics. Now we will analyze what are his possibilities. Why did he shift is very simple. I think all these experts and commentators and political pundits are debating so much. The why of it is very simple. He is going to be, or he is planning to become the opposition prime ministerial candidate in 2024, which means that he will give up the seat to Lalu Yadav's son, who is now the deputy chief minister. So that's not something a top secret or anything. My own hunch is Prashant Kishore is one of the instigators of this and planning in the background about this whole idea. Now you may argue there are many contenders like Mamata Banerjee, Kejriwal, and this Chandrasekhar in Telangana, and even Stalin for the top post. But from the opposition side. But among them, I think finally Nitish will be the choice. Several reasons. One is, you see, this Parivar Vaad will not hold for Nitish. He doesn't have any major liabilities or family which is foisted on the party or anything like that. Second is, so far, whatever little I understood, is clean. Yes, there has not been any major corruption accusation against him and other things. So these are his two major plus points. And he is one of those mild, soft-spoken leaders who would be acceptable to most of the political parties as we go along. Now, kindly remember one important thing. Do not confuse my estimate or forecast with my wish. In Indian politics, many people, when they are making observation or when they are making comments, they confuse between wish and forecast. So this is not my wish or anything. This is obviously my wish would be that NDA should come back to power and nothing. But that's not going to be easy. Let me tell it very clearly and unambiguously. It's going to be the most challenging time for NDA. Even before that, some of the assembly election, they are going to find it very difficult. Gujarat, for instance, when you rule a state for nearly 30 years, there is certain amount of weariness or certain amount of tiredness creeps in, just like for CPM in Bengal. And so we have to be cautious. That's what I would say. Now, looking at the Lok Sabha thing, the performance of NDA 2019 was remarkable. If one can use such a word, it's not just creditable, but it is remarkable. For instance, roughly 64 with Apna Dal, I think 62 BJP alone won in UP out of 80. And MP 28 out of 29, Rajasthan 24 out of 25, Chhattisgarh 9 out of 11. In all, 61 out of 65 they swept in these places. Bihar, they got 17 out of 39. They were, of course, not single alone or anything. Karnataka was another major giver for them, 25 out of 28. And Maharashtra, they got something like 23. It was in alliance with Shiv Sena out of 48. Tamil Nadu, they got 0 out of 38. And Pondicherry 1, also 0. Kerala out of 20, 0. In other words, out of 59, 60 seats in that Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry belt, they got 0. Now let's look at the possibilities in 2024. It's going to be very difficult for them to, leave alone, cross the achievements in 2019, even keep it up in states like UP, MP, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. That is sort of a sweep, Karnataka. That is sort of a sweep. It's not very easy to replicate it again. Assuming even if they keep it, they reach something like 250, 260 or 290 even. The aim of the Nitish Kumar group would be to bring 303 by something like 40, 50 less. That's the most important thing. In other words, they will be less than the famous 272, what Sonia told. 272, less than that, which means they will find it government. And all these ragtag parties can combine together and try to prop up government, which, we will go back to those days of Devagowda, Inder Gujral, and, several type of combination, permutation, and other thing. Why I am telling is, now BJP cannot improve its tally in UP, MP, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, as well as in Karnataka, which means it has to do something better in other places. Northeast is one possibility, but the numbers are not very large. So mainly it has to be South, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. But whatever surveys have come out, too early to talk about the India Today opinion survey and other thing, they all indicate that the 2019 will be replicated in these two states. And Telangana and AP may not be able to give huge numbers. So where are the numbers going to come for NDA? If they are not going to achieve significantly in this UP, MP, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and Karnataka. Maharashtra, very doubtful whether they will gain significantly than what they obtained. Similarly, in Bihar itself, Bihar is going to be a major battleground, but given the caste and other type of combination, Bihar, they may be able to get the old 17 or maybe slightly more, not significantly larger than that. So the aim is to reach 272 somehow or other. So additions have to come. Significant additions are not expected in some of these other places. That is the calculation of Nitish Kumar and others. What Nitish Kumar and others are thinking is, if they are not going to boost significantly in other places, they are going to get reduced to some extent, then their plan is by 50 vote for 50 seats at least from 303, it can be brought down, which means the end result will be of 250 or something, which will make it difficult for NDA to form a government. And that time the Mahagathbandhan will have a upper hand in terms of forming a government, and various other smaller groups will be enthusiastic in terms of getting enough number of seats. So that is a major challenge. As I told, advantages are, it's very difficult to pin down Nitish Kumar as belonging to family based. That's one of the, if it were Lalu Yadav or if it were Stalin or if it were anybody else, one could easily be talking about the family. And second is, very difficult to pin down Nitish Kumar on any specific corruption charges on him. He can be called inefficient, incompetent, and other thing. All those things are there for various other political leaders also. And Nitish Kumar belonged to a group of smaller, relatively smaller other backward caste Kurmis, which is similar attempt is being made by Siddharamaya in Karnataka using the Kurubas. So this is what I would like to call as level 2 OBCs are trying to assert on various other states in India. That's it's going to be a and acceptability of Nitish Kumar. Very many people will be asking. It's a very simple game now. Mamata is in a weak wicket as far as all these allegations and role of corruption and other thing is. Stalin, I am not very sure, is really of that stature and of that nature to occupy the central seat because of his he's not extremely what one can call proficient in English also. Hindi, of course, no way. And his whole orientation is not on a all India basis. And Chandrasekhar Rao is, of course, very enthusiastic and eager. But Telangana may not be able to give him such an amount of push in order to become a national level, candidate. So that is a type of a thing. And given the characteristics of others, like Sharad Pawar, I don't think is going to get any interest in this. Most important. And Kejriwal might be another important candidate. But again, my own hunch, purely hunch, there is no underlying proof for it, is he is not going to try in 2024. I think he will wait in order to expand his base in many other states. He has got now Delhi and Punjab. He is also eyeing Gujarat, at least some significant number of seats, as well as in Himachal Pradesh and other places. So I think he may wait. Otherwise, also, I don't think all others will jump into joining and supporting him. Among the opposition leaders, Nitish Kumar is one of those who is capable in terms of uniting the opposition, as well as in terms of providing some sort of a cushion. So he can't be attacked that you are on this or you are on that another. He can be attacked that he doesn't have any loyalty and he doesn't have any sense of propriety and all those. I do not know how much of them will stick really, because in India, a political leader crosses parties like anything. He goes from one to another and another to this, and I don't think that is a very major issue among the electorate. The only issue is he going to be found as attractive, as capable? Another point which we should remember, even though there are large number of admirers of Modi, including myself, after 2 terms, there is a weariness which comes, whether one likes it or not. The 3rd term is not going to be a easy thing. Surprisingly, Kejriwal could have a 3 terms in a smaller state like Delhi. Otherwise, in larger states, it's always very difficult. And also in center. Whether the 3rd term is going to be easy, it's not because he has not been competent, he has not been, because people tend to think large amount of good things he has done, people tend to think any others are also going to do it type of thing. One possibility which may not happen at all is for BJP itself to project another leader instead of Modi providing backdrop support and then significant amount of help and becoming what is loosely called a Margadarsh. That's one possibility, but as of now, I don't think it is possible nor feasible, because already Amit Shah has announced in Bihar the coming election we will fight under the leadership of Narendra Modi. So the third mean what? Another 5 years, 15 years in all total is not going to be easy. Again, it has got nothing to do with his capability. It has got nothing to do with his competence. It has got nothing to do with his conducting the affairs. It's purely in terms of people feeling that a sense of weariness. We have seen him enough. We have that type of a thing. So that is another dimension which we have to keep in the back of the mind. So Nitish Kumar entry into national politics is not to be belittled, is not to be joked at or scoffed at. And it's not like Rahul Gandhi creating some humor and other. The most important point is, will Congress accept Nitish as a possible candidate to be projected? Of course, if they decide that they will not project anybody, it is going to be a messy affair. Post-election, we will decide another thing. This is not 2004 or 2008. This is totally different now. Now it is more like a presidential form of government which Modi has created. It's not like the traditional, the British parliamentary form. So to that extent, you require a leader. You require a person to be projected in order to achieve results. So whether the Congress will accept, which means, in a sense, giving up the claim by Rahul Gandhi, who has been launched several times and who has always been kept in the back of the mind as the PM material of the opposition. So that is one, what one can call a, sort of a big question mark, whether it would be acceptable to Congress. As far as other political parties, I think slowly they will veer around to the fact that he is the most lowest, lowest common multiple, most possible desirable opposition leader. I think the left parties would support him, which mean in Kerala also he would get enough support. And through Pinarayi, I think they would like to influence Stalin to support him also. And of course, they have to take him around the country in order to, because he is not very well known in the other parts of the country. He is known reasonably in Bihar and UP, but not in other parts of the country. So he has to be, projected, and he has to be given his the Jnanasthan, or whatever it is called, that immersion into various rivers of this country, so that people look at him. And very difficult to list his achievements. He introduced prohibition, and he has been generally one of those moderate political leaders. So, but it's not based on achievements people in India vote. People in India vote due to several complicated formulas and factors. Each state has got its own dimensionality. So, we have to wait and watch. The most important point I want to stress is, do not underestimate the power of UPA to destabilize NDA in 2024. Thank you very much.